Hi, this is Allison Villars. I'm Director of Health and Human Services with St. Tammany Parish, and today we are very fortunate to have Kelly LaRocc here. She's the Interim Director of the St. Tammany Parish Library System, and we're just delighted.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for coming, Kelly.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, I have a lot of questions about the library, and you have a lot of information, but before we do that, we want to know about you.
Okay.
So, how did you decide to become a librarian?
Well, I guess there's probably two parts to that. There's the reason that I like libraries and love libraries and books, and then there's the reason why I became a librarian. So my dad was in the military. We moved all over the place, but one of the constant things that we always had no matter where we went was a library and a library card, and my mom would take me to the library. And even though so many other things would change because we moved so often, the books and the stories, they were like old friends. And I love what that was able to do for me as a child, and so that's one of the reasons why I like working in the library and being part of libraries. But when I was in college, I had a student job at the LSU library. And I realized really quickly that people would come in, they would ask for something, I could help them find it, and I love helping people. So that's the great thing about the library, whether you are a children's librarian or you like working with young people or you like working with older adults or whatever the case may be, it all centers around helping the community and helping people. I get a really good feeling from that. So that's why I love working in libraries. So I've had a chance to do almost every type of job you could do in the library, and I've been working in libraries now for about 18 years. So it's been fun, and I've really enjoyed all of the places that I've worked and the people that I've helped and the books that I've put in the hands of children and adults, and so that's...
So did you major in library science when you were in college?
Well, what I did is I had a major in history, and then I received a master's of library and information science. So it is a master's degree. There's it's very practical. You've got to learn to catalog, and you've got to learn to do reference, to best ways to find answers for people. You know, when it comes to that type of thing, it's not so much knowing the answers, it's knowing where to find them. Who do you call? What book do you put your hands on? What website do you put your hands on? And so it was great.
One question for you about where you started in the library. What was your first position?
My first position was a student worker in the basement of LSU in government documents. And so my job was to help process the materials that came in, all these little bitty pieces of paper that the Department of Health would send out, or whatever it is. The documents depository kept everything. That was their job. So we had to label them and put barcodes on them, and we had to find those things when people came down to the basement to ask for a copy. I guess you might call it a library page, someone who has to shelve and somebody has to go find it, and processor. So that was my first job.
Now you're interim director of the whole parish system. So what do you do as an interim director?
Well, there's 12 branches, and all of those employees, there's programs that go on at the library, there's books that have to get on the shelf, and all of those departments, I supervise those departments. And I also supervise the big projects that go on. So, for instance, right now we're gearing up to renovate Covington, and so there's a lot of work that has to be done, working with the parish, getting ready what plans that building needs to look like and how everything's going to lay out. The summer reading program recently happened, and all the librarians who work with that, and we talk about what our budget is. So I do finance and planning, and then I go to those events and I see what's going on and I meet with the staff, and so it's great because as director or interim director, you get a chance to be involved with all of it. So
it's fun. You never know what your day is really going to be like.
Exactly. So it's not routine. It's something different every day, and that's what makes it exciting and fun. And so I really do enjoy it.
Okay, you guys, I went on your website after we talked in person, and I just went, there's so much on there, you know, to look at and to sort of study and to figure out for oneself. What do you think is the thing that right now jumps out most to people when they go on your website?
I think right this second, if they go to our website, they're going to see summer reading, which is wrapping up for the year, but it's one of the most busy times at the library. If you are in the library right now, or over the last couple of weeks, children, adults, teens, it didn't matter. There was something for summer reading for you. And that includes the reading logs, where you can work up towards reading 12 hours, and the kazoos that the kids were carrying around, because the theme this summer was Libraries Rock. It was all music themed, although we had some science and some geology in there too. But that was the biggest thing that you would see, was summer reading and all of the programming and things that went along with that.
So I was surprised to see that there is summer reading for adults.
Yes.
Like, what do I get if I was in your summer reading program?
Well, you could get a kazoo.
Okay.
But there's bingo. Did you visit a branch? Did you check out an ebook? And they draw for prizes at the end of the summer. So there actually was a prize for adults.
That's fun. That's
It
really
is fun. And the thing is that the parents come in with their children to do summer reading, because school requires that they do a certain amount of summer reading, or they just like keeping track of all of the books that they're doing. And the parents would ask, why? What about us? And I don't get a prize? And yes, we do that. This is the second year that we've done it. Jillian Boudreau is in charge of the adult programming for the parish libraries, and this is the second full year that we've done an adult summer reading program, and it's been very successful. So
Well, I love that there's adult summer reading, because I used to participate as a kid in summer reading, and I thought, well,
and you
that's
can
over.
participate again.
That's great. Since you've mentioned the adult program director, Jillian, I wanted to ask you, is beginning ukulele an adult program?
Yes,
It's an
it
adult
is.
program?
Yes.
How cool is that?
Yeah, no, it's fun. Jillian gets to try a little bit of everything.
So how did she find the programs, I guess?
She looks at different websites. She goes to conferences. So, us librarians, we get together and we see what's working in our communities. What worked in this community might work here too. We read journals. We see what's going on. There's a lot of librarian bloggers out there, who talk about what was successful in their own libraries. And we also take suggestions from the public. So, Jillian will ask, did you like this program? Would you like to see something else? And people will happily tell us what they would like to see. And if we can do it, well, then we'll do it.
So she goes out and finds them. She's
yes.
looking for talent.
Absolutely.
So if somebody's listening to this program right now and they wanted to do or suggest a program, or they wanted to be the program person, they would call Jillian?
They could also go to our website,
Okay.
Because under adult programming it says, would you like to help us, or do you have a suggestion? You can do it there.
Okay, great.
Absolutely. And we do all kinds of programs. We do music, we do concerts, we do arts and crafts, we do all kinds of things.
So if they went to your website and put that on and she selected them, would they be able to sit down and say, I need this amount of time, overtime, or is it a one-time program, or they always have to be sections?
It just depends on what the program is. We have very limited meeting space, so if we do a long series of programs, then it becomes difficult to schedule that meeting room for the public. Because again, that's the service that we provide, is that we have meeting rooms and community groups can use them. So we want to have the library programs in those rooms first, but if we have a series that goes on for an extended time, then it makes it difficult to fit other programs too.
So I, as a person in the community, could have, I'm making this up, a book club, which I don't have yet, and I'm looking for. I could have them meet in the library if I called in advance and scheduled the room.
Yeah, the thing with community groups using the room is there's a limit to how many times in a row they can use it, or how many, just again, because we want to make sure everyone gets an opportunity to use the room. And the large branches, for the most part, are the only ones that have meeting rooms. So Covington has a meeting room, Madisonville has a meeting room, Causeway has one, although Mandeville does not. Causeway is just down the street from Mandeville, and they kind of serve as the Mandeville meeting room. Slidell and South Slidell have meeting rooms, but all the other little branches, they don't. They're so tiny, they don't have meeting space. So that meeting space it's a commodity.
Right. Abita Springs is my library, and I love it because it is so tiny. It's very cozy
lovely
to be in.
It is.
It is. So you have other branches we didn't mention. Will you mention them now? Pearl River?
So Pearl, On the east side of the parish, we have Pearl River, and we have Lacombe, and they're smaller libraries. Over in the middle, we have a Beta. We also have a small branch at Lee Road, which is kind of just north of Covington. We have one in Bush. We have
North of Covington, you have Folsom.
I do have Folsom. We just renovated them recently too. So
I think
I've mentioned all of them.
Yeah.
But those are the smaller. And when I say small, they're about 2,000 square feet. 2,400 square feet, 2,000 square feet. So, but they all have computers. They all have computers with the internet. They do have a collection there to check out. You can get anything from the entire library system at one of those small libraries. Even though it's not on the shelf, we can ship it from Slidell, we can ship it from Covington, and it's there within a day or two. We have a delivery service that makes sure that that happens. So if you see a book in the catalog and you would like it, delivered to the branch closest to you, you can do that. You can also drop off a book at any one of our libraries.
That is one of the things I like the best. I mean, I like a lot about what you all do and services you provide, but dropping the book off wherever you are.
Yeah.
I have 4 books out right now, so as I finish them, I'm at a library and I put it in. Okay, we've talked a lot about your website, but we haven't said what the website is yet. What is the website name?
It is www.sttammanylibrary.org.
Okay, and St. Tammany is S-T.
T, yes,
Okay.
A-M-M-A. And it's funny when I'm telling people I usually have to stop and say that, so thank you for mentioning that. There's no period in there. It's just S-T-T-A-M-M-N-E-Y.
Okay, so we've gotten that address out, and they can go there and find all the stuff we're talking about in more depth.
Yes, you can see all of the different departments, children's, teen, adult, all the programs that go on, a calendar of events, what's current. And our catalog is up there, little search box at the top. You type in the book you're looking for and it'll take you right there and show you what branch the book you're looking for is at. Or if it's not an actual physical book and it's an item that you would download, it tells you that too. So it doesn't matter if it is a material that is downloadable or it's a material that's hardcover, print, you can touch it, hold it in your hands. The catalog has all of it in it.
I love the word downloadable because right before I came here, I didn't have the app on my phone. I know you have multiple of these. So I didn't have an app on my phone, and my sisters always, they do books on tape all the time. They're driving around and listening to things, and I hadn't had it, so I put it on my phone right before this, and I downloaded a movie, The Mission from 1992 with Sean Connery and somebody else. And I remember seeing it a long time ago, and it's about the Amazon jungle in case y'all are interested. But it was so easy to do, and I kept thinking, why haven't I done this before?
Yes, and we have movies, like you're saying. We also have ebooks, so if you just want to read it on your tablet or phone or device. We also have e-audio, which means it's just the audio book. You know, if you have a car and you've been putting 16 CDs to listen to the whole car, not the whole car, but the whole book. It's a lot of stuff to hold on to.
It's also dangerous. I've done that before.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
you're driving the causeway and trying to put in a...
Yes.
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 Okay.
So our audiobooks, our e-audiobooks are great because we have people that cross the twin spans, we have people that cross the causeway, and they put it on their phone and it plays and away they go. And so it's a very popular service. And you had mentioned previously that you downloaded Hoopla, and that is one of our services. We also have the 3M Cloud Library and Overdrive. So we have 3 big e-services that we subscribe to for all of our patrons to use. So basically whichever one of those services is the most comfortable for you to use, whichever one you prefer, and that can be the one that you use. And there's some items that are available in all 3, and then there's some that are just available in one or the other, which is why we have the multiple choices.
And I understood that if I didn't know how to do the downloadables or put it on my phone and stuff like this, one of the things I found out on the website was that I could book a time with a reference librarian.
Yes,
So
you
tell
can.
us about that, because it sounded like they would help me learn how to do this.
Yes, so there's a couple of different ways that happens. First of all, there is book a reference librarian, where you can schedule a time to sit down and speak with a reference librarian about whatever your research need might be. Whether that is that you need help with a device, or maybe it is that you're starting a business and you don't know how to write a business plan and you need a little bit of help doing something like that. Or you're going to have a major research paper if you're a student and you can really get some help. How would I go about this? What resources are out there that I may not see on my own? And some of it is tech help. Our reference librarians have a lot of different skills. And so booking a reference librarian can be specifically about a device, but it can be about so many other things. And they also have Appy Hour, where you can, it's a scheduled time that they sit there with their devices and you can bring yours, and they'll show people how to use the library's downloadable services and how better to use your device. And then they actually have formal classes on devices and library resources. So there's so many different ways, but if you have a device and you want to learn how to download something, or something is not working the way you should, you can absolutely sit down with a reference librarian.
I really wish when I was in college I knew that a reference librarian's job was to help me figure all this stuff out, because it would really have been helpful to me. So if you're a student out there, you need to pay attention to Kelly, because she knows what she's talking about, and I would use the reference librarian. And congratulations to them, because they really know a lot across the board, and they're really good at finding it too, which I think is great. So you have, you've talked about computers before. So let's talk about how I can access a computer at any library.
Yes, so all 12 of our locations have computers and high-speed internet access. And I think that people assume, okay, well, I have a phone or I have a computer at home, but there's plenty of areas in the parish where we don't have high-speed internet access. So going to the library at Bush, you get high-speed. Dial-up is not fun. It's kind of slow. And then there's a lot of people nowadays who have phones that don't have a desktop computer at home. We're becoming a much more mobile society. And so they might come to the library to use a printer. So besides the computers and the high-speed internet access, we have the printers, we have the scanners, we have fax machines, and we also have people at the branch that can help you. So if you're having problems, getting that resume to look just right, you need to cut and paste something and it wasn't working, someone can help you.
Well, I also saw that there was something get a job Wednesday, the last Wednesday of the month.
Workforce Wednesdays.
Okay.
So we've partnered with the St. Tammany Business and Career Solutions Center to put these on. I think the next session is going to be about, is this job right for me? But all of the sessions are geared towards, helping you find a job that would be good for you, a career that would be good for you. And that includes resume help, that includes even what to wear to an interview. It's a really great program. We have one more before we finish out the summer, but then we'll be doing it again in the fall. And that's turned out to be a really great partnership. We've been very pleased, and the people who've come have been so happy.
Okay, so if I walk in the door of any of the 12 St. Tammany Parish libraries and I want to attend a program, do I have to have a library card?
No, we don't actually check the cards at the door. This card, and it's funny, they call it the most powerful card in your wallet, right? That card gives you access to all of our materials. So all of the books, all of the music, all of the movies, and you'd be surprised, people still want to check out books. Okay, so last year we circulated, someone came in, checked it out, and walked out the door with it. Over 1,250,000 items, but only 200,000 of that was downloaded. 1 million physical items went out of our libraries last year, and people like to have books in their hands. And that's what this card will get you. This card will get you access to all of those books, all of the movies on DVD, all of the music on CDs, all of the things that are downloadable, whether that's movies, music, books. audiobooks, all of those downloadables. And it allows you to print on the computers. You get 5 free prints a day with your card. So that card gets you access to all of our resources. But we never ask anybody if they have a library card when they come to the jewelry making class or to the Workforce Wednesday. We want as many people to come in as possible, and we're hoping we can entice you to check out our resources and get yourself a card while you're there.
Okay. And does the card cost?
The card does not cost anything. It only costs if you have to replace it. So it's $3 for a replacement card, but the card on its own, if you are a resident of St. Tammany Parish and you've got your picture ID that says so, you can have a library card.
Okay, so if I don't have a picture ID, because some people don't have them, what do I need to bring?
You just need to bring a couple pieces of mail that have that address on it and your name. So, and there's a way around it.
Okay, well, I like that card, but I also like the one that you get with it.
Yes, you get a keychain fob, which is great because there's often that I don't always have my wallet, but I always have my keys. So, and I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, I love the keychain fob. So we were talking earlier about the activity in the library, and I saw something online that said CIZE Live. Could you tell me about that? Because it was just fascinating.
It's just a little bit of exercise. We had was it last year that in one of the summer readings, one of the first, just a couple years ago, had a lot to do with movement and exercise. And it turned out to be really popular at a couple of our locations for the adults to be able to get together and do something. And so right now at South Slidell, they have yoga. And there's a core group of community members who come in for that. But we always have, sometimes during the summer and sometimes during the year, we'll have different opportunities to try something new, whether it's hula hooping or whether it was yoga or whether it was stretching or just something different. And we move them around, but that's what that is. We make sure that those opportunities
So what is
are there.
CIZE?
I think it's size, as in kind of shorts exercise.
I got it. Okay. Now I understand. That was great. I like that. And there was something else there that was really fascinating to me, and it said that a global warrior.
A global road warrior?
Yeah.
That's one of our electronic resources. So not necessarily, so far what we've talked about books that you download or music that you download, but we have databases. So it's collections of information like newspaper articles or magazine articles, or something like Global Road Warrior, which just talks about travel. So you can look up a country and it will tell you, are there any restrictions on travel from the State Department? What's the local food like? What's the weather like? What should you bring with you on your trip? I mean, everything, kind of like a guidebook. You know, you can look at a Frommer's or a destination guide. It's a one-stop shop. You can look up on Global Road Warrior the place that you want to go, and it will give you absolutely everything you need for your trip.
And so if you're a more academic person, are there academic databases to get into?
There are. We have the standard Gale Group and EBSCO databases, which are academic journals. We don't have as many academic journals databases as, say, Southeastern would.
Sure.
Or UNO, but we do recognize that we have adults with research needs, and we do have students too. So they're coming in to do research for their term papers, their projects, or their college work, or they may just have an interest in a particular topic. So we do provide databases that will help you get where you need to go if you're doing more of an academic research.
So what are we missing? What haven't we talked about?
One of the things that I wanted to talk about specifically, because we're coming up on the fall and summer reading is over, but story time is getting ready to start again at all of our branches. All 12 of our locations offer story time, and really wanted to talk about early literacy because it's really, really important that you get your children ready to go to school and you send them off to kindergarten. And most children learn to read in school. You don't have to have your child, reading books before they get to kindergarten. But one of the things that you can do is you can prepare them to read. And so reading 20 minutes a day with your little one, even babies can, you know, that's where they have board books that they can touch and feel a book and you can turn the page. Because that time that you spend reading with your child goes a long way to make sure that they're ready to read when they get to kindergarten. And it's much easier for them to learn to read if they already have that exposure to books and literature and picture books, and that reading is fun and it's a fun time for mom and dad or baby to sit together. And so really, I mean, when you read with your child, when you sing with your child and they hear the parts of a word, you know, all words kind of have a rhythm to it, just like singing when you're singing a song. You play together, just talking together. You use more words when you're talking with your child than they would if you're paying attention to the TV or your tablet. And then writing, I mean, even the drawing, scribbling that you do on paper, the children see that it was important enough that you spent time with them to read with them and time with them to draw with them and to sing with them. And they pick up those early literacy skills. If you do those things, by the time you get to kindergarten, they know that how books work, that you open them up and you flip them this way. They know that words have parts of sounds. You know, they can be broken down into parts of sounds because they heard that when you were singing. 20 minutes a day that you're reading invites a whole opportunity to have a much larger vocabulary than a child who wasn't read to. You hear so many different words, and that's how you learn language, is that you kind of pick up on what the meaning is from the other words that you do know. And just those things, all of those important things, whether you're reading, singing, playing, talking, writing, if you do those things with your children, they're more than ready to read when they get to kindergarten, and they're more likely to be successful. So all of our story times cover those things, and we model for parents, whether it's at play date that we have at the library, we model those things during story time. You know, we talk about a letter, the letters have certain sounds. And so by coming to story time, you can see what our librarians do, and you can do them at home. Plus, there's so many amazing picture books and stories that are at the library that you can share with your little ones. So really, when we get into the fall and we're getting ready to start story time again and kind of push that early literacy, not that we don't talk about early literacy all year long, but it's a big part of the fall. And the other thing is coming up right at, and this would happen towards the beginning of August because that's when school is going to start. We do have the school bus program where we've had a couple volunteer bus drivers who will bring their school bus. So if you have a little one who's going to be riding the bus for the first time, you know, it's a scary thing when you go to kindergarten that you might have to put your child on the bus. They can come see one and sit in one and hear a story time about school buses and how they work, and the bus driver will talk about, you know, what you do and how it works. And it's proven to be really popular with both the children who are a little nervous about it and the parents who are a little nervous about it too.
I guess so. Well, you know, we're out of time, and we could continue to talk about the wonderful libraries that you guys offer to us in St. Tammany Parish, and we'll have to have you back, Kelly.
I'd love to.
Thank you so much for being here. And if you don't have a library card, I'm inviting you to go to any one of the 12 branches in St. Tammany Parish and get one. And if you don't want to do that yet, attend a program. Look at their website, sttammany.org. So,
it's St. Tammany Library.org.
Sorry, sttammanylibrary.org. I don't know if we said that right before either. So, but go to the library, check out the programs, and we'll see you next time on In the Loop.